10 value gems that you can easily find. Not all treasures are buried deep. Some lie forgotten in dry riverbeds, scattered beneath pine needles, or glinting in gravel driveways, hiding in plain sight. You don't need a miner's license or a millionaire's wallet to find them. You don't need luck, just curiosity and a trained eye. Today we're counting down 10 of the most valuable gemstones you can find. Yourself. No fiction, no fantasy, just Earth revealing its secrets, one stone at a time. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th, Fluorite, the cube that glows. This is fluorite. Believe it or not, this gemstone might be hiding beneath your feet. Found in gravel pits, abandoned mines, and road cuts across the United States, fluorite is one of the most accessible and surprisingly valuable gemstones amateur rockhounds can stumble upon. A clean, 1-inch specimen with vibrant color and sharp crystal edges can fetch anywhere from $20 to $150. Larger pieces from historic mining regions, like the famous Rosaclare mine in southern Illinois, have sold for over $200, especially when they fluoresce under UV light. Fluorite rates a modest 4 on the Mohs hardness scale, which means it's soft enough to scratch with a knife. But collectors don't come for durability. They come for the color. This mineral is nature's most vivid palette, appearing in deep purples, neon greens, ocean blues, champagne yellows, and even stark blacks. What makes it even more mesmerizing is its glow. Under ultraviolet light, fluorite doesn't just shine, it radiates thanks to trace elements like europium and yttrium in its crystal lattice. In some specimens, this glow lingers, creating an effect known as phosphorescence, like the gemstone is holding onto light itself. Moreover, fluorite forms in nearly perfect cubes, which is rare. The thrill of discovering one, covered in dust, hidden in a crevice, and then watching it come alive under UV, makes fluorite a gateway gem. It draws people into the world of gemstones, not through rarity or price, but by wonder. It reminds us that beauty sometimes isn't buried miles underground or locked behind velvet ropes. It's sitting on a hillside trail, waiting to be noticed. Ranked 9th, Moonstone, the gem that carries the light of the moon. Some gemstones demand attention. Moonstone doesn't. It waits. It's the gem you notice only when light hits it just right, when a milky glow, like liquid silver, ripples beneath its surface. This shimmering effect, a dualiscence, isn't a trick of the eye. It's the result of layered feldspar crystals scattering light so that it looks like a moonbeam is trapped inside. For centuries, moonstone has been wrapped in folklore. Ancient Romans believed it was formed from frozen moonlight. In India, it was considered sacred, a stone displayed only on a yellow cloth, never touched directly by human hands. But beyond the myth, what makes moonstone so special is how deeply personal it feels. No two look alike. Some shimmer blue like twilight on snow. Others glow peach, silver, or even green under certain angles. Each one responds differently to movement, mood, and light. And here's the best part. You don't need to mine a mountain to find one. In the eastern United States, particularly along the Appalachian Belt, moonstones can sometimes be picked from pegmatite deposits or weathered feldspar veins. Small pieces less than an inch across may initially look like nothing. But polish them, tilt them, and they might reveal that quiet gleam. A well-cut cabochon can fetch $40 to $150 depending on size and clarity, especially those with intense blue flash. Moonstone isn't a gem of spectacle, it's a gem of stillness. In a world full of loud beauty, it whispers. And sometimes that whisper is what stays with you the longest. Ranked 8th, Garnet, the warrior's stone. Before diamonds became the jewel of status, before rubies found their place in royal crowns, there was garnet, the original gemstone of warriors. For over 5,000 years, garnets have been cut, worn, and carried into battle. In ancient Rome, they were carved into signet rings to stamp seals in hot wax. In the Middle Ages, crusaders slipped them into their armor, believing these deep red stones would stop bleeding and protect against death. There's a reason garnet has often been mistaken for ruby. Both share that crimson fire, but garnet has a darkness to it, like dried blood beneath polished glass. But here's the twist. Despite its history of kings and soldiers, garnet is one of the most findable gemstones in the world. You don't need a treasure map, just a sieve and a stream. In places like upstate New York, Idaho, and parts of North Carolina, garnets can be washed into creek beds, glinting among river gravel. They're often small, rounded, and deep red, about the size of a pea, but sharp-eyed hunters sometimes find larger crystals over an inch across, worth $50 to $300 if well-formed and translucent. And it's not just red. Garnet comes in a full spectrum: green savorite, orange spessartine, and even rare color change varieties. But the classic almandine, that iron-rich, blood-dark garnet, still carries the weight of centuries. Hold one up to the light, and you'll see not just color, but memory of armor, loyalty, and hands that once gripped swords and seals. Garnet isn't glamorous. It's timeless, a stone not of luxury, but of legacy. Ranked 7th, quartz, the common crystal with uncommon value. If there's one gemstone that proves beauty doesn't have to be rare, it's quartz. Found on every continent and in nearly every U.S. state, quartz is one of the most abundant minerals on Earth, and yet it continues to surprise both beginners and seasoned collectors with its variety, clarity, and unexpected value. Let's talk practicality. Quartz comes in many forms, but three types regularly catch attention: amethyst, smoky quartz, and clear quartz. You don't need to go deep into a mine to find them. Some of the finest amethyst clusters have been found in creek beds across Georgia and Alabama. In Arkansas, entire quartz veins have been exposed by erosion, allowing rockhounds to pull out crystals several inches long with nothing more than a shovel and patience. The numbers don't lie. A clean, unbroken quartz point over 3 inches with good clarity can sell for $20 to $75, depending on color and formation. Amethyst with deep violet hues, that can climb past $200 for a hand-sized cluster. Smoky quartz with perfect terminations, primarily from Colorado or New Hampshire, is equally collectible, especially when naturally irradiated rather than artificially treated. What makes quartz special isn't just its accessibility, it's its structure. The 6-sided crystal habit, the piezoelectric charge it carries, and the fact that a clear quartz point can form over millions of years in silence add to a gem that feels alive in your hand. It's science you can touch. You don't need to be rich or lucky to find quartz. You need to know where to look and how to see. Ranked 6th, zircon, the gem. Everyone mistakes, but no one should ignore. Say zircon in a room full of gem lovers and you'll see eyebrows twitch. Most people immediately think of cubic zirconia, the synthetic diamond knockoff. But real zircon? That's a whole different story, and one of the most misunderstood gemstones in the world. Natural zircon is one of Earth's oldest minerals. Some crystals found in Western Australia date back over 4.3 billion years, making them older than the moon. But age alone isn't why zircon matters. It's the brilliance. When properly cut, high-quality zircon rivals diamonds in fire and sparkle. Its refractive index is so intense that it creates a light return nearly indistinguishable to the naked eye, from a gem you can sometimes sift out of stream gravel. Zircon occurs naturally in alluvial deposits, especially in Cambodia, Sri Lanka, and parts of Australia. In the U.S., collectors have found gem-grade zircon in North Carolina and Colorado, especially in regions where granite has broken down into gem-bearing soil. You don't need a pickaxe, just a sieve, patience, and luck. Color-wise, zircon comes in a kaleidoscope: icy blue, honey gold, cinnamon red, champagne, and near colorless. Blue zircons particularly are highly sought after, with stones over 2 carats fetching $200 to $500 on the open market. Larger untreated specimens from famous localities can hit 4 figures. The irony? Many people throw it away, assuming it's just quartz or glass. But gemologists know better. Zircon has double refraction, visible under a 10x loupe, and a specific gravity heavier than most lookalikes. It's not imitation, it's underappreciated brilliance. Ranked 5th, topaz, the desert crystal that hides in plain sight. There are places where the earth looks dead, scorched, silent, and forgotten. But under that dry crust, treasures lie in wait, and few are as deceptive as topaz. At first glance, topaz isn't much. In its raw form, it often looks like a glassy chunk of quartz. Pale, dusty, unimpressive. That's why, for years, prospectors passed it over, mistaking it for worthless crystal. But in the windswept desert of western Utah, they were walking on gold without knowing it, or more precisely, on topaz. Topaz Mountain, a remote site in the Topaz Range, is one of the only places in North America where high-grade topaz naturally surfaces. After a summer storm or a landslide, the wind and rain sometimes expose clear, amber, or even sherry-colored crystals. Some over 2 inches long, still perfectly terminated. And here's the kicker. Anyone can go there. There are no permits or blasting gear, just sunlight, sharp eyes, and maybe a chisel. Clean, faceable topaz over 10 carats can sell for $100 to $300, depending on clarity and color. Rare pinks and blues, often heat-treated but occasionally natural, go even higher. And the thrill isn't just the price tag. It's the moment of transformation. 1 second, it's just a dusty rock. The next, it catches the light, and you realize you found something a jeweler might frame in gold. Beyond Utah, topaz appears in Brazil, Pakistan, and Russia, often buried deep. But in the American desert, it breaks the rules. It comes to the surface not because we dig for it, but because time and erosion give it back. Topaz isn't flashy, it's patient. It waits for those who see beyond the dust. Ranked fourth, amber, time, trapped in honey. Most gemstones are formed through pressure, heat, and time, born deep within the earth. But amber? Amber is the opposite. It comes from trees, not tectonics. It doesn't compress time, it captures it. Every piece of amber is a window. Some are golden and clear, like crystallized sunlight. Others are cloudy, rich, and red, as if autumn had been distilled into stone. But the real magic of amber isn't its color. It's what's inside. Trapped in the resin of long-extinct trees are pieces of the ancient world. Wings of prehistoric insects, pollen from vanished forests, and even tiny air bubbles from an atmosphere that no longer exists. And here's the beauty. You don't need to be in a lab or a museum to find it. After a storm along the Baltic Sea, pieces of amber wash ashore like sea glass. In the Dominican Republic, children have been known to find fossilized sap the size of a thumb while digging in soft soil. In Myanmar's Hukong Valley, entire arthropods have been recovered in amber barely an inch across, worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors and scientists alike. Raw amber chunks can go for $10 to $50 on the low end, depending on size and clarity, but its value can rise exponentially once polished, mainly if it contains a visible insect. A 1-inch pendant-grade specimen with a trapped fly can easily fetch $200 plus. Rare finds like feathers or lizards have gone for 5 figures at auction. Amber doesn't sparkle, refract light, or fluoresce, but it remembers. It holds on to a moment that nature tried to forget, and in doing so, it becomes priceless. Ranked third, Peridot, born from fire, scattered by eruption. Not all gemstones are forged in silence. Some arrive screaming, hurled from the Earth's core, like green bullets in a volcanic storm. Peridot is one of them, a gemstone born not from time but from violence. Most gems are formed miles beneath the surface and take millennia to cool. But Peridot breaks the rules. It forms in deep, hot, unstable magma chambers and travels upward inside volcanic rock. When those volcanoes erupt, they sometimes throw crystals of peridot straight into the open air. No mining, no digging. Just boom, and they're there. That's precisely what happened on Hawaii's Big Island, where locals once found tiny green olivine crystals glittering in the sand after eruptions. In Arizona, peridot-bearing basalt has weathered so much over time that you can now walk through canyons and spot olive green fragments by eye, sometimes lodged in cracks, other times lying loose on the ground. Peridot isn't subtle, its color doesn't hide, it shouts. Unlike emeralds, which can range from blue-green to near black, Peridot always burns with a golden lime glow. And that signature look makes even small stones valuable. Clean, transparent Peridot over 2 carats can sell for $50 to $150. Large specimens over 5 carats? $300 or more, especially if they show intense fire and minimal inclusions. But value aside, Peridot carries a kind of untamed energy. It's not a gemstone that whispers. It doesn't wait politely to be discovered. It explodes into your path, hot, raw, and unmistakably alive. Ranked second, Opal, the stone that refuses to stay still. You don't look at an opal, you watch it, because opal never shows you the same face twice. Tilt it slightly and a blaze of orange erupts. Turn it again, and suddenly it's green fire, then violet, then gone. It's not just a gemstone, it's an event. Unlike crystals with fixed patterns and facets, opal is built from chaos, microscopic silica spheres stacked irregularly enough to bend light into rainbows. This play of color makes opal so mesmerizing and so unstable. It's the only gem that looks in motion, even perfectly still. But here's what most people don't know. You can find it with your own hands. Storms and flash floods in Coober Pedy, Australia, have revealed gem-quality opal inches beneath the surface. In Nevada's Virgin Valley, collectors have unearthed glowing, water-rich opals in dried-out creek beds, often using only a hand trowel. Even in Ethiopia, entire seams of opal shimmer just below hardened volcanic ash. And yes, the value is real. A 1-carat black opal with strong color play can command over $1,000. But even common opals, if they flash the right way under sunlight, can bring $50 to $300 in collectors' markets. It's not just the stone, it's the spectacle. The magic of opal isn't in its rarity, it's in its refusal to settle. No photograph can capture it. No 2 pieces ever shine alike. It's the gemstone equivalent of lightning in a bottle. Here for a moment, then shifting again. In the first place, turquoise, the sacred stone that never left the earth. Long before gemologists named it, before price tags and certificates, turquoise was already sacred. The Navajo, Apache, and Pueblo peoples believed it fell from the sky, pieces of heaven scattered across the desert. In Egypt, it adorned the masts of pharaohs. In Persia, it crowned blades and bridged the spiritual with the earthly. Across continents, across millennia, turquoise was never just decoration. It was protection, power, and prayer. But for all its ancient gravity, turquoise remains strikingly approachable. It doesn't demand diamond sparkle or ruby's depth. Its color, from robin's egg blue to greenish jade, feels like water remembered in a dry land. And unlike most gems, it doesn't hide underground in the southwestern United States. Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico, turquoise often forms close to the surface, near copper mines. With patience and sharp eyes, even amateur collectors have pulled raw nuggets from the sides of hills or found loose fragments in old mine tailings. Turquoise's value depends not just on color, but also on origin. Stones from the Sleeping Beauty mine in Arizona, with their pure, even blue, have fetched $5 to $30 per carat. Rarer spiderweb patterned stones from the Lander Blue deposit have sold for thousands. But even a rough piece the size of a quarter can be worth $50 or more if it's natural and untreated. But turquoise isn't about price, it's about presence. Unlike most gems, it changes with its wearer, absorbing oils, aging, darkening, and even cracking like old leather. It breathes. It remembers who held it. Some gems glitter, turquoise speaks. And that's the beauty of it. You don't need to go to a museum to see Earth's wonders. You can find them under your boots, between the roots, or washed up after a storm. These gemstones aren't locked behind glass. They're scattered across the land, waiting for the right eyes to see them. Sometimes the Earth leaves gifts in plain sight, and we've only just begun. If you found something new today, please like, subscribe, and join us for more. The world beneath your feet is more valuable than you think.